Oh, hello there. So, recently I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube. The reality of Poland, or something like, don't come to Poland, or why Poland sucks. And I just think that there are a few things that need to be cleared up. So, let's go. Uh huh. So, there's a couple of things that we need to go through. So, brace yourselves. I'll try to make this entertaining. The first thing to remember is that you will be enrolling in a university in Poland, be it private or public. Poland has the second lowest unemployment rate in the entire European Union. And I know this from my own experience that the unemployment rate for graduates of Polish universities is extremely low. Like, I literally don't know any human being who has graduated and does not have a job and a good paying job. So you can think about at the very minimum 6,000 Polish zlotys a month, which comes to about 1,20,000 as of this moment, which is good. Yeah, after 3 years or 2 years of studies for masters. Naturally, once you finish masters, then your initial salary is gonna be higher depending on your previous work experience if you have had any. And yeah, the second thing about graduation from a Polish university is that you will not need a work permit ever to work in Poland and the Schengen zone area. So basically, you have free mobility provided that you're able to find work, let's say in the Netherlands, Germany, Spain. Basically, you're entitled to work. And yeah, that's a big plus. Oh, that's comfortable. Okay, so the next important thing is that, yeah, as a full time student, there's virtually no limit to the amount of hours you can work. Now, that is a tricky advantage because you are here to study or you want to come to Poland to study, but there are some students whose motives are also to not take any money from their family or to do this by themselves or pay their tuition fee by themselves. So, for those students, I want to say please rethink your life choices and your decisions. Because if you study well, then you will end up with a well paying job and then you can support your family. However, if you want to support yourself, then you can work virtually 20 hours a week, which is fine, which is the recommended amount. However, there are some students who go crazy in their second or third semester, start a job at McDonald's or Uber Eats or delivery, and end up working 50, 55 hours, and then they're extremely stressed about life because they can't pass university because they weren't attending classes. And even if they somehow manage to convince the professors, they fail their exams because they did not study, instead they were working and they were tired. And so basically, don't do this. The next thing is that, yeah, if, however, you would like to, convince your professors in the second year or in the final year, there is the option that you could get a full time job or an internship. Let's say you're studying biotechnology and you get hired at a company that does some research in your field. In that case, you could take your job contract or internship contract to the dean's office, tell them, hey, I have this job, I'm already working in the field. Therefore, I think that it's better for me to learn in the real world rather than at university. You know what the dean will say? Good luck, all the best with your professional life, and he will give you this individual track of studies, he or she, of course, and voila, you no longer have to attend classes. You can simply attend, the exams at the end of the semester. Okay, how difficult is the university gonna be? Um, so it depends where you're from. right? Because there's a change in the education system. If you're moving to Poland, yeah, if you're moving from anywhere, there's naturally a change. So, in my experience, now it's subjective again because I can't conduct a research and say that, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is better. I can tell you what I know from my own experience and from talking to various individuals. If you're from India and you score above 75-80% in all of your classes up to 12th or in your bachelor's, if you have a 75% CGPA, then you're not going to have any problems here. Like, everything will go just like a breeze. You will even think that, oh, it's just too easy, this is not what I signed up for, but only during the first semester. Later on, you will realize that, okay, they have a slightly different system. So what's important is to stay in all the classes, to participate, to share your opinion, to share your performance, to share your assignments, develop a relationship with the teacher. They should know that you are the person who raises their hands and are active in the classroom. And yeah, if that's your case, then you're perfect fit. I know that there are some students from Bangladesh who score even like 100 or above 95%, and then they come here and then they have problems with the education system, meaning that it's too difficult for them. So, a good recommendation is whichever university you're applying for, chances are that on their website they have some practice tests available. Just go through them, and if you come across some subject or some chapter or some question that you've never seen before, it means you're gonna have to work very hard. Yeah, let's see what else that I want to share. Yes. Some students think that in the first semester, the studies are too easy and that I want to change the field of studies. You are essentially delaying your, graduation date. It's much better if you stick with one thing, finish it, and then move on to another subject. I know lots of individuals who come from a background in, let's say, social sciences or commerce, and then end up studying or working in IT. Hell, at my previous job, there was a data engineer, and he had a degree in philosophy. He has a PhD in philosophy, and he was a data engineer, which is an extremely technical role. So when it comes to work, studies are a means. It's a experience you have to go through in order to work. And in Poland, if you're skilled, if you want to go in IT, you have a good GitHub page, you do a lot of projects, no problem, you're gonna get a job just like that. Gonna be very, very easy. Yeah. So stick with your studies, finish it, and then decide that if you want to enroll in another studies or something. Lastly, as I mentioned before, if you raise your hands in every class, you share your experience. What you become is called an active student. Yeah. What does that mean? That means in the first semester you did this. Now you have good grades, let's say, according to their grading system, more than 80%. Then you are eligible to apply for a dean's scholarship for an active student, meaning before the second semester, you can apply for a scholarship. Now, your studies are not free, or, you don't get blessed with like 2 Bitcoins every week. No, you get a very standard amount of money, which is close to 600 PLN. It depends university to university, but in the range of 600 plus minus, let's say 150, I would say, which comes to about 12,000, 15,000 INR, which is still something. Yeah, you're getting something from the university because you were an active student. Here it makes sense to talk about who you will be studying with. You will be studying with a lot of internationals and some Polish students. My recommendation is to befriend those students. Here's why. At the end of the school year in Poland, It's called Liceo, the high school. You have to take an exam, which is called the maturation exam or maturity exam. Matura, they call it in Polish. And based on the grades of the Matura exam in specific subjects, you are then eligible to be considered by universities. Now, if your grades are very good, then you will be studying in Polish language at some of the best universities. For example, Politechnika Warszawska, or if you're into social sciences, maybe Jagiellonian University, University of Wrocław, Politechnika Warszawska. And if, as an international, you go to these universities, you will meet some of the best students with very good performing grade point average throughout their studies in school and high school, which means you will have some really interesting individuals. I could talk more about the kind of people you would meet, but I think it's a big plus to consider because international students, yes, of course you will meet them, but the Polish students that will be studying with you, they have made an extra choice. With their grades of Matura, they have decided that, okay, I have been accepted into this university and I want to study in English, right? So they might as well study in Polish, but no, they're actually very ambitious. So they decide to go with this English curriculum. So yeah, you will have some really great individuals by your side of Polish origin, and of course internationals. Okay, so then the next thing is the discounts that you will have and the social life. So I'm just gonna refer to this. You get a 51% discount in public transport, so trams, buses. You have a discount, 51% off. It's amazing. You can go virtually, to the nearby villages, try out your Polish language skills. You have got them towards the end of your first semester. For sure, you can speak some Polish. You can please introduce yourself. You can ask someone else some question. So you can go to the nearby towns and okolice, they say in Polish, like suburbs or localities, neighborhoods. Trains are also 51% off with a valid student ID. So, a friend of mine does this. He goes to the train station over a weekend. He checks which is the next train. He buys the ticket, and then he just goes to, whatever stop he wants to go to and explores that city. It's a very good way to explore the country. Yeah, it's very suspenseful. You don't know where you'll end up. There's an element of excitement to it, a fear element as well, because you're going into unknown territory. So I highly recommend that. 51% off. Many restaurants also offer discounts to students, so you'll never go hungry, so to say, unless you want to live on hot dogs from Żabka. They're quite infamous among students. Unhealthy but filling. Again, if you're a vegetarian like me, then they have sometimes an option for a vegan version or vegetarian version, but I advise against it. Okay, then, all right, yeah, for social life, like almost all universities have excellent student engagement plans. Sometimes there's a boat party involved, sometimes there's a barbecue, there are trips to the mountains, skiing trips, board game nights, karaoke events. The list is just endless. And you know what? My recommendation: join a student union or join the department of the university who is in charge of these events. Because not only will you have a good network, but you will learn some skills. You will learn what it takes to organize an event like that. You will learn the whole process of contacting someone saying, hey, I'm a representative of the university. I would like to do this, right? You can, sometimes there is disco nights, you go to clubs and such. Many students unions do this, but in my experience, they all suck. I have been in them, so I can say that, yeah. I think it's better to have an individual approach towards it and try to do it by the help of university officials, because student unions, not only do they suck, but they are very often too political, right? People who join students who join the student unions often just want to be, I am Mr. President. You shall address me as such. I do not speak to you peasants. Please go speak to someone else. There are people like that. What's even more interesting is that there are some student unions. Like every university has one, an official one, and only Polish students are there. And these Polish students, they typically end up in politics, especially if they're president, vice president, and such. So interesting. Steer clear of a union if you want to organize something by yourself. But if you want to learn and experience, then yes, join them. Yeah. The legality. We can't talk about the reality of studying in Poland without discussing the legal challenges, the administrative challenges, the life threatening, being stuck kind of challenges. Again, none of this is extremely true. Like there are legal challenges, but it's not like you're gonna get deported. There are administrative challenges, but it's not like you're gonna be crossed out of your student list. You'll not be a student because the university will kick you out because you didn't submit an assignment. I'm just showing you the anxious side of things. The challenges start at the very beginning. They start with securing a visa date. Now, recently, Poland has become a very popular destination for students because of various reasons. One of them is the affordability as compared to other European Union countries. So, a lot more students are coming here, and a lot more students are getting visas. Over the last course of years, of the last 5 years, the number of students coming here has increased, which also means the number of students who have their visas denied has increased, which also means that the number of students applying or trying to apply to get visa slots has increased. That means not everyone gets a visa date. Recently, people from the southern region with Mumbai consular section in India had this major challenge. Now, if somehow you get through this challenge, you apply for the visa date, you get it, you have an interview, some cases you don't have interview, you get the visa stamped, you come to Poland, the challenge is not yet over. As an experienced individual who cares about your well-being, I'll tell you that no matter where you are in life, the bigger challenge is always ahead of you. What might that bigger challenge be? It is a residence permit. Now, what does that mean? You will need to extend your visa, which means either you go back to India, apply for the visa, or you apply for a temporary residence permit. For that, there's a list of documents that this video is not about, but a lot of people, foreigners who come here and apply for it, cry about it. Now, I am not the person who chooses to cry over problems because it's a choice in the end. For example, I noticed a few Indian origin YouTubers who's like, oh no, TRC such problem, oh no. Well, it's a caricature. And oh no, I am stuck here, I cannot go. Again, a caricature. The reality is that once you have to apply for a temporary residence permit before your visa ends. So either you apply through a lawyer, which will charge you approximately 40 to 50,000 INR, or you send your documents by post, or you make an appointment. It's up to you. Now that's a separate process, so I'll make a new video on that. But these are the three ways to do it. Now once you do it, you will be summoned by the governor's office or Urząd Wojewódzki, and they will check that okay, all documents are good. They will put a stamp on your passport. This will take, it could take 2 to 3 months, but ideally it should happen on the same day if you have taken the appointment or you go by a lawyer. If you send it by post, then it won't happen the same day. Now your visa has expired and you have the stamp on your passport, which means you can stay here legally in Poland until you get a decision from original YOC that congratulations, your residence permit application has been approved. And from the day it's approved, you can stay for 1.5 more years. And then it will take another 5 to 6 months to get the card. Now, the people cry about one fact, which is when you have the stamp on your passport, you cannot leave. Now, that is misinformation. It's said that you cannot leave and you are stuck. No, no. If you have the stamp on your passport, you cannot go to any other country in the Schengen area. You have to stay in Poland, or you can go back to India without any problems. Even if you don't have the stamp, you can still go back to India. If you, for example, send your documents via post, you have the document from the post office, a copy of the documents you send, just take those, go to the airport, go back to Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, wherever. And in this case, ideally you have booked a visa appointment date before you actually choose to go there. Say for example, I have a visa appointment date for July the 7th. So I will leave here on June 31st with all the necessary documents from the university, which is a great transcript, and that you are a student. On the 7th of July, I will go there, apply for another visa, and it will take 14 days to 21 days, maybe longer, to get your visa stamped. Now, this is an option which is available to everyone, not just Indians. But somehow there's a misconception, somehow there's a fear, somehow there's an insecurity that you're stuck here. No, you're not. So if you choose to stay, if you don't have plans of going back to India, then it's your choice. You're not stuck. It's your choice to stay here while your temporary residence permit is processing. And once you get it, you're free to move again. Again, it's your choice. Second option, go back to India, apply for a visa, get the visa, come back here. Now, to anyone thinking that that's not possible, please refer to my recent video, my fourth Polish visa. Over the 6 years I have lived here, 6.5, I have had 4 visas. Now, to anyone who thinks that, it's not possible, it's not real, just go watch that a little bit ago. The people at the consular section actually know me. They're like, okay, you're the one. I keep going there back, yeah, because I don't want to restrict my movement. My choice is that I want to be free. I don't want to feel like I cannot travel, which is not the case anyway, right? So that's the thing. Now, the last thing about Polish. The viewer said towards the end, I want to address a scam. Polish is hard. Polish is one of the most difficult languages in the world. Lie. There are sometimes people who watch, who make videos. 5 facts I learned today. In Siberia, it's illegal to kill a bear with a spoon. Now you know. It's this kind of a fact, yeah? Polish is one of the hardest languages. I'm assuming that some intelligent human being during their PhD thesis did a research amongst a group of languages, and which languages have sounds which are hard for speakers of a specific background. I'm assuming that happened. And somehow they reached the conclusion that languages of Slavic origin are hard. And then further they concluded that Polish is the hardest in the Slavic group. I am willing to give that argument a shot. But to me, a simple statement that Polish language is hard sounds similar to it's illegal to kill a bear in Siberia with a spoon. It's useless information that only plants a bias in your head. So Let me ask you a simple question. Let's say you are a 20-year-old individual who grew up in India. You have now decided to move to Russia. The question I have is, which language is the easiest to learn while you live in Russia? Option A, Portuguese. Option B, Korean. Option C, Spanish. Option 4, Russian. I'll let you decide. The second question I have for you is, you're an individual who grew up, again, in India for 20 years of their lifetime, and now you've decided to move to Poland. The question is, which language is easiest to learn while you live in Poland? Option A, the language they speak on Mars. Again, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's how I feel about the situation. Option B, Portuguese. Option C, I don't know, Bengali. Okay? And option D, Polish. I'll let you decide.